This video, I'm going to be going over Pigments 3. So what I'm going to do here is just show off a bunch of the patches and show them in little musical ideas. I'll also be showing you the Spectrum sound pack, these 5 banks of 100 patches each that are made with Pigments 3, and they're on sale right now, and they even come with Pigments 3 if you buy Pigments 3 for the first time. I've got an old video on Pigments 2 that's definitely worth checking out, so make sure you go check that out after the video. And the greatest part about this update is that it was free to people who already have Pigments 2. Really cool. I hope other manufacturers really start taking hints from this kind of behavior because it goes over really well with the community, that's for sure. And for the disclaimer, I've been given Pigments by Arturia, and it wasn't in exchange for making these videos, and they don't pay me anything. And I was also given my machine hardware, which I'll be using in this video later. I'll also be using Ableton Live. What? Yep, Ableton Live. Going to be using Ableton Live now in some of my future videos. But I've got Ableton Live and a Push 2, and those were not given to me by the company. I purchased those with my own money. So, all right, so let's get into the sounds. So this first one that you just heard is all using Pigment sounds except for the beat, which is actually taken from Native Instruments crate cuts. And I used KitMaker to turn my favorite machine expansions into little libraries that I can access through the Push. So here's my little bass cutting edge patch. One of the new engines that comes in Pigments 3 is this harmonic one, which is an additive synthesis engine. Because we've got the subtractive stuff, we've got wavetable, we've got sample-based engines, and now this adds a totally different way to create sound. And the cool thing about this harmonic engine is that instead of creating a rich tone and then filtering out frequencies like we do with subtractive synthesis, with this one you can add the harmonics in, and then you can do things with the harmonics, like you can pan some of the harmonics to the left and some to the right. And then of course you can modulate all of these different weird parameters with the amazing modulation capabilities of Pigments. You know, as I add more harmonics, you get this really buzzy, rich sound. This control right here, we can see is being modulated down here by this LFO. And I can go and just start messing around with that just so we can hear it, make it a little more obvious. And I just love how it animates everything as well. And I just wanted to show you another thing they added. So this new utility engine is going to really change the way you can shape your sounds. And they've given you the ability to add transients at the beginning of sounds. So I can click on this little thing right here and go over to transients and just try some different attacks for these notes out. If I turn up the volume, you can hear that little blast of noise that's happening right at the beginning of the note. We could also turn on things like noise just in general in the background. And we can even turn off the other engines to hear it. And we have a sub oscillator on the bottom as well. We've also got our brass spot. Let's have a listen to that patch. Just seeing these great animations. There's our modern piano. So here you can see how they've combined a sample of a piano. And then they've also added this harmonic engine as well. Put them together. And then we've got the lead sound as well. Okay, let's go listen to another idea. So getting a little bit more into synthesizer, Boards of Canada kind of sounds. And this one here is called Boards of Zelina. So there you go. Great sounding patch. The next one is this Clear Skies patch. Also went with this Countdown bass ARP. Let's have a listen to this guy on its own. This one's relying heavily on these functions envelopes. And these function envelopes are super, super cool. So make sure you check out the Pigments 2 video for that one, my old video, because I do go over these envelopes. So you can hear how these are controlling. Filter right here, filter to cutoff. And filter to resonance. Let's crank it up a bit. So really easy to go in there and start creating your own pulsing rhythms. This Lovesick kit comes from the newest machine expansion called Trill Raise. I can put a link to that in the description as well. All right, let's move on to the next idea. For this one, all I did is went to the Basement Era expansion, grabbed a loop, chucked that in there, and then went and started playing around with some Pigments 3 patches. It's one called Siren. And this future patch here has one more new feature that I haven't talked about yet, which is this pitch shifting delay that they've got. And we can see that there are these steps that are going to happen every time you play this. You can hear it going up the octave. So if I were to go and change this mode right here, I could go, let's try normal. And right now we've got it set to 12 semitones. Watch what happens if I set this to, let's set it to 2 semitones. Here we go. And we can hear it going up the octave. Let's go octave down. And then the bass. And this one is using the new multiband compressor. So let's hear what that one sounds like without it. And you can tell right away that it's making quite a dramatic difference on this patch. Compressing different frequency ranges. That's all a multiband compressor is. You can split the frequency range up into a certain amount of bands, and that's what they've done here. They've got 3 different bands and they're compressing them all differently. So in this case, it's kind of like an EQ in the sense that you can go and turn up or down different frequency ranges, but it goes deeper than that because it is actually compression. So depending on how loud the signal is coming through, how much gets compressed and all of that. But hey, this one I'm just going to play for you. Here we go. So that's that one. Has some really incredible patches in it. This Whoa patch is definitely one of my favorites. Oh, just beautiful stuff. The Model Mallet. Really beautiful patch. I love those mallet-y kind of sounds. All right, so now what I'm going to show you is two little ideas made with Machine and using the Spectrum sound pack. So again, these are extra sound packs that you can purchase for Pigments 3, and they're using the new features of Pigments 3. So really great sounds in here, 100 in each one. It comes for free if you get Pigments 3. So I go to the browser and then go over to My Banks. You're going to see them pop up once you get them installed. And we have 5 different banks here, but the Amethyst one, lots of pad sounds. Crimson, you're going to hear a couple times in here because they are mostly bass patches. So Pigments really will excel at the aggressive stuff if that's your thing. Next one, Malachite, might be one of my favorite ones. It's got tons of these bell sounds. Kind of a DX7 kind of sound. Ochre, more of the synth sounds. Last one we've got is Onyx, and I've got some of those in this little idea right here. Let's have a listen to this patch. Some really nice filtery stuff happening in there with some of the mod wheel, I guess, on that one. Because these patches are all NKS ready, you get all the macros and everything already mapped out with Machine. So really nice working with Pigments inside Machine. And then I've got a kick drum. So this kick drum is just made by Pigments. And then I got this fun shaker sound here. This is one of the Crimson patches. And then we've got some keys in here. This one. And synced along here is also from Onyx. So a lot of arpeggiated patches in this Onyx bank of presets. I've also got this great lead sound called Old Friction. So let's have a listen to that whole idea. All right, for this last one, I'm just going to play it. A couple of patches from the Malachite bank, I think that's how you pronounce it. And then we've got an Ocean View kit. This one comes from the Trill Raise expansion, the newest one by Native Instruments. And then we've got a Crimson bass in here, and then this lead sound, this Lucky Throat. Free update, excellent new sound banks, and just inspiring patches. Anyways, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and we'll see you in the next video.